I'm Brent Plotzman, Manager of Energy Information and Analytics with Lutron Electronics, and today I'm here to talk to you about a new shading program, Lutron Performance Shading Advisor. The Lutron Performance Shading Advisor is a new tool that's been built around 5+ years of academic research with Purdue University. The tool is designed to transform shading from focusing on building aesthetic to focusing more on performance and aesthetics, and combining the two to really have a performance-based design and a performance program in your building system. What we've done is we've taken 5 years of research on human factors and energy performance and combined them into a tool that allows you to understand how fabric selection truly is a critical performance factor in shading design. This tool is a free web-based tool available online, so it works well with iPads as well as PCs. And the tool will allow you to use project-specific information to evaluate the performance of your shading system. So, going to this tool, the Fabric Wizard is really the engine that drives this tool. Within the Fabric Wizard, we're going to ask you a few key project parameters to understand the performance of the shading system on your specific project. So the first set of parameters we're going to ask about is based on the location of your project. What city is your project in, to know more about the climate and the latitude effects on the solar position and performance. In addition to the city location, we're going to ask information about the orientation of the project, of your facades, north, south, east, or west. And then we're going to move on and start asking a little bit about the interior of your project. So when we get into the interiors, we need to know space types and room colors and some other key factors that help us decide on what the best fabric is for your shading design. Finally, the last set of questions is on the facade properties. So how big are your windows? What is your window to wall ratio? What type of glass are you using on your project? Single, double pane, etc. And it's really important to note in this tool there's some high-level questions that we include, and we also allow you to go into more detailed answers if you know more specifics to the performance properties of your glass or facade, etc. From this, we move into a summary to make sure that your project inputs are all correct. And then very quickly, we're able to run hundreds of simulations simultaneously. And these simulations are going to evaluate the performance of a Lutron shading system and help you select the right fabric for your shade design. As you can see, we have basically 3 main parts at different levels of detail in this tool. The top carousel at the top will show you both the image of the fabric that you're considering, as well as a performance score rated from a 5-star on your project all the way down to a 0-star, meaning it would not perform very well for your specific project parameters. If you're looking for more detail about the performance of your fabric on your project, we can give you specific details about the performance scores for the glare performance, glare reduction, for the daylight performance, the daylight autonomy metrics, and for the view preservation performance. So you can use your own specific priorities on your project to help make your selection of the fabric for your design. And finally, if you really want to get more technical detail about the performance, we go to a 3rd level of detail on here. And so if you scroll to the very bottom, for that specific fabric, we give industry research-based metrics that explain the performance according to glare, daylighting, and view. So for example, the glare score will be shown anywhere from 30 to 50% daylight glare probability. We will show a daylight autonomy score, which helps you understand how deep you will get daylight into the space with that specific solution. And then finally, we will give you a view preservation score that allow you to understand how well can you see through the fabric, how open will the shade be based on the automation of the system. The last step in performance shading design is really to specify a system that's going to perform based on your performance requirements that you selected on the tool. What we've actually learned in this industry, though, in the research that we've done, is that the specific fabric properties that you're selecting for your job are very critical to the performance of your system. However, since this has been mostly an aesthetic-based design process in the past, these fabric manufacturers have typically not had a tight tolerance around these performance properties. So you can imagine that if I had specified a fabric that had a 3% openness factor, I would expect to have something very, very close on my project when it's installed. But in reality, a 3% openness factor may come in and be installed as high as a 6% openness factor or even higher. So this is not a sufficient tolerance around performance if you're going to do a performance-based design. So we've worked very closely with the fabric manufacturers to develop a specification grade fabric program. Specification grade, as you may know in the industry, defines high-performance products and technology. And we're trying to use that same terminology to define high-performance fabrics that have tight tolerances that can guarantee that your design intent will be met when you specify a specification grade fabric. So Lutron has introduced a new fabric compliance called specification grade fabrics. And Lutron's first fabric that meets the specification grade fabrics are the THEA compliant fabric family. As you can see here, when using a THEA compliant fabric, if you design a fabric that meets the design intent that's going to provide glare control according to your requirements, you are guaranteed that a THEA specification fabric is going to maintain that design intent because of the guarantee on the fabric performance properties that has a tight tolerance around the fabric performance. With the Lutron Performance Shading Program, we now have all the components necessary to design a high-performance shading system. We have the technology to provide the correct shade control for your projects. We have the fabrics to meet the tight tolerance and specification needs for your project. And we've developed the Performance Shading Advisor tool to help you design the fabrics that are going to meet your requirements for glare, daylight, and view preservation. So for more information on how to use the tool or to start designing based on performance shading, go to performanceshadingadvisor.com. Thank you.